Hello, everyone. So I just want to let you all know that I gave you guys a history lesson in the last video tonight on Abraham Lincoln destroyed and abolished slavery. The North won the Civil War in the 1860s in the 19th century, which was less than 2 centuries ago. And guys, I just want to let you all know that because of Abraham Lincoln and because of the old school, and notice I say old school Republican Party, not like what the Republicans today, but back then, Abraham Lincoln should have led the Revolutionary War, but he wasn't born yet. Google it. He's only been around in the 19th century. George Washington and his men were actually around longer than Abraham Lincoln and his men. Even though Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican to ever be in office in the White House. And he was the first Republican president to abolish and destroy slavery because it was wrong and he was against it, which he had every right to be against it. Otherwise, he would never abolished it, and it would have gotten worse from there back then. See, back then, they didn't live the way we live today because there's been a lot of things today in 2022 in the 21st century which wasn't around back then. What was there back then is not here today. What's here today, it wasn't around back then. Okay? Think about that. And that history lesson was to educate you guys about the Civil War and that the United States independence was on the holiday of the 4th of July was declared in 1776, in the mid 1770s in the 18th century. See, guys, I told you I know my history. I'm educated. I looked this up online. I Googled it. If it wasn't, they didn't teach me this in school when I was a kid. I didn't know anything about this. But thanks to the internet, it's one of the reasons why I use the internet too, is to read up on history. You can too. Google is free.